This is where it says You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today's Tuesday, 24th day of March, 2026. Some of you may have seen the little note up there that the start today would be slightly delayed, but turns out we're getting started pretty close to on time, but I may have to take a break. So, forewarned is that's knowledge. Okay. Thanks for joining us, whoever you are, wherever you are. We're just glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. The first one's our live training room. So to get in there, you got to be a member or taking your 1-week free trial. When Michael joins us at the top of the hour, he'll walk you through exactly how to take the trial. It'll take you about 3 minutes to get signed up. We'll get your indicators up and indicating today. Your trial will officially start tomorrow and run all the way through next Wednesday. The weekend does not count against your trial, and there's no credit card required. We want you focused on what's being taught so that at the end of your trial, you can make a well-informed, intelligent decision as to whether or not trading is right for you. So Michael will join us about 1 p.m. Eastern. He'll show you how to take the trial, give us a recap of what happened in the live training room, and do a little live trading as time and the markets permit. Kind of a quiet inside day today, but we'll talk more about that when we get to the charts. Now this afternoon broadcast, unlike the morning broadcast, is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. 2 different ways to join this afternoon broadcast live. Now the best way, you only got to do it once. Go to mytradingiq.com. Scroll down the page to where it says noon broadcast. Click the link, fill out the 30-second registration form, and you're done. Going forward, what will happen is every trading day, you'll get an email about an hour before the broadcast starts. In the email, there will be a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it automatically logs you into our platform. The benefit of doing it that way is you immediately have access to the question box so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Now, there will be days you're out of the office, away from your desktop, but you still want to join live. Some days you'll be busy, so you can't join live, but you want to get caught up later. You can do both of those via our YouTube channel, which is easy to remember. youtube.com/CFRN. That's the Christian Financial Radio Network since 2005. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, as we're doing right now, simulcasting, we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,900 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. And if you're new to our neck of the woods, it is a great way to get to know who we really are. Thanks to the power of YouTube, you can scroll back 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more. Obviously, you're not going to watch them all, nor do you need to. But it's a great resource to have at your fingertips because it allows you to see how we've evolved over all these years, day by day by day. youtube.com/CFRN. On the left side of the screen is our schedule for each afternoon broadcast, so we're going to dive right in with our daily devotional. And the topic that we've been on for a few weeks, and we still got some time to go. God, where are you? We've all asked that question at some point in our life. Maybe not out loud, but in some cases, we screamed it. Our scripture today is Luke 19, verses 5 through 9. And I'm going to share it from the NIV translation. When Jesus reached the spot, he looked up and said to him, "Zacchaeus, come down immediately. I must stay at your house today." So he came down at once and welcomed him gladly. All the people saw this and began to mutter, "He's gone to be the guest of a sinner." But Zacchaeus' sin, by the way, was being a tax collector. But Zacchaeus stood up and said to the Lord, "Look, Lord, here and now I give half of my possessions to the poor. And if I have cheated anybody out of anything, I will pay back 4 times the amount." Jesus said to him, "Today salvation has come to this house, because this man too is a son of Abraham." Again, that was Luke 19, verses 5 through 9. So Zacchaeus was short in stature, and even shorter on friends. As Jericho's chief tax collector, he was wealthy, but utterly despised by his own people because he worked for the enemy, the Romans. So picture this scene. Jesus is passing through Jericho, crowds are pressing in from every side, and a grown man is desperately climbing a sycamore tree just to catch a glimpse. For someone of Zacchaeus' social standing, this was humiliating, but his curiosity about Jesus overcame his pride. As Jesus reached the tree, something remarkable happened. He stopped, looked up, and called the tax collector by name. "Zacchaeus, come down immediately. I must stay at your house today." Luke 19:5. Jesus didn't wait for an invitation. He invited himself. The crowd's reaction was immediate and predictable. All the people saw this and began to mutter, "He's gone to be the guest of a sinner." Case closed. Luke 19:7. To eat with someone was to accept them. And the people couldn't understand why Jesus would associate with such a notorious collaborator. Something profound happened during that meal. Zacchaeus stood up and made an extraordinary declaration. "Look, Lord, here and now I give half of my possessions to the poor, and if I have cheated anybody out of anything, I will pay back 4 times the amount." Luke 19:8. This wasn't just generous, it was revolutionary. Jewish law required only 20% restitution for theft, but Zacchaeus volunteered 400%. His encounter with Jesus had transformed his heart completely. Jesus' response revealed his mission. Today salvation has come to this house, because this man too is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and to save the lost. Luke 19:9. Jesus didn't come for the righteous, but for the lost, and he actively sought them out. While the crowd saw a corrupt tax collector, Jesus saw a lost soul worth saving. While others muttered about his choice of dinner companions, Jesus was fulfilling his purpose. He came not for those who thought they had it all together, but for those who knew they needed help. So what lengths have you gone to just to see Jesus? Like Zacchaeus, your desperate seeking will be met by his intentional finding. No matter how others see you, Jesus sees someone worth seeking, worth saving, worth sharing a meal with. Let's pray. Lord Jesus, thank you for calling us by name and inviting yourself into our lives. Help us respond with joy, turn from what is wrong, and walk in newness of life. Let your presence bring transformation to our hearts and salvation to our homes. It's in your name we believe and pray. And everybody said, Amen. Amen and happy Tuesday. All right, let me give you the numbers from around the world. Then we'll go to the news, then we'll go to the charts. And then there'll be time for Michael to join us. Okay, and we'll start here in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Currently the Dow's up 77 points. The NASDAQ is down 123. S&P 500 is down 5, and the Russell 2000 is up 14. As I said, sort of a quiet inside day after yesterday's big move. In the commodity basket, crude oil up $4.25, trading 92.38 last. That's a gain of almost 5%. Gold up $2.10, trading 44.0940 last. Silver up 34 cents, trading 69.70 last. And the Asian markets at the close. The Nikkei rallied 736 points, 1.5%. Shanghai jumped 67, 1.75%. The Hang Seng gained 681, 2.75%. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE up 41, the DAX down 88, the CAC up almost 2 points. So we had a green day in Asia. It was a mixed day for the UK. And at the moment, it is a mixed Radio Tuesday here in the US of A. Everything has gone green, with the exception of the NQ, which is still down 95 points. But with the NQ, if it wants to play follow the leader, it could get there really quick. Turning to news. New York's LaGuardia Airport was closed for hours yesterday after an arriving Air Canada plane carrying 76 people collided with a fire truck Sunday night. The 2 pilots were killed and more than 40 people, including 2 people aboard the fire truck, were injured and some critically. Audio from the crash suggests air traffic controllers may have been focused on a separate incident, assisting another aircraft's pilot who had made multiple attempts to take off when the collision occurred around 11:40 p.m. Eastern. One controller can be heard clearing a Port Authority fire truck to cross the runway before yelling, "Stop, Truck 1, stop." The truck was responding to a smell reported on a United flight. The incident marks LaGuardia's first fatal crash since 1992. Separately, ICE agents were deployed at airports nationwide yesterday to support TSA agents as the partial partial government shutdown entered week 5. The Senate, meanwhile, confirmed Mark Wayne Mullen to lead the Department of Homeland Security, which oversees the agencies. And you know how when you walk through the airport, they have these little electronic billboards everywhere? Guess what they say today? You're standing in a line due to the Democratic shutdown. Yeah. Hit them where it hurts. It's just the truth. Come on. Now, this could be a big deal for a lot of people. Pfizer is seeking regulatory approval for a Lyme disease vaccine that showed 73.2% efficacy in a late-stage clinical trial. If cleared, it would be the first human vaccine against the tick-borne disease approved in over 2 decades. Lyme disease is transmitted to humans through the bite of an infected deer tick, with symptoms ranging from a rash to fatigue and arthritis. Roughly 500,000 Americans are diagnosed with or treated for the bacterial infection annually, and most fully recover after a 10 to 14-day course of oral antibiotics. My dad did not recover. I mean, he ultimately recovered, but it took close to a year. Some patients, including several celebrities, report persistent symptoms, though chronic Lyme disease is not recognized by conventional medicine. The last human Lyme disease vaccine was introduced in 1998, but withdrawn in 2002 after unproven side effect concerns sank demand. Pfizer's vaccine application may face scrutiny. Too few trial participants contracted Lyme disease to prove the shot was effective in at least 20% of the worst cases. That's a key metric. And today, drum roll, marks the 20th anniversary of Hannah Montana. Some of you are old enough to remember that. The Disney Channel series that turned then 13-year-old Miley Cyrus into a global pop star and bonded a generation of viewers. Miley is now 33. She returns as her blonde-haired alter ego for a 1-hour special, 3 a.m. Eastern on Disney Plus and Hulu, featuring an interview, unseen archival footage, and a new song. Over 2 decades, Cyrus underwent one of pop culture's most dramatic reinventions, evolving into a Grammy-winning artist behind hits like Flowers, Wrecking Ball, and Party in the USA. During this interview, Miley talks about getting sober, reuniting with her dad, Billy Ray Cyrus, and why she says she wasn't trying to kill Hannah Montana. The 2006 Hannah Montana premiere drew 5.4 million viewers, then a Disney Channel record, while the 2007 episode remains the network's most watched live action broadcast with 10.7 million viewers. Its season 1 soundtrack was also the first TV soundtrack to debut at number 1 on the Billboard 200. She left from the squeaky clean Hannah Montana to the life she went on to lead for quite some time. It says she's clean and sober now and, doing the right thing. But boy, she was a wild child there for a while. I guess she should be very glad she didn't become part of the infamous 27 Club. You don't know what that is. A lot of very popular and famous rock stars, Mama Cass, and many others, passed at the age of 27. Jim Morrison from The Doors. The guy that played the Star Spangled Banner like it had never been played before. Yeah, can't think of his name, but There's quite a few. There's even a podcast out there, the 27 Club. Okay, turning to Wall Street. How the Fed has and hasn't responded to previous oil shocks. The Federal Reserve's response to the biggest spike in oil prices since the 70s hinges on how long the energy shock lasts, according to Fed Chair Jerome Powell. That's what he said last week. Right now, officials are just watching to see what happens. It'll come down to how long the current situation lasts, and then what are the effects on prices, and then how consumers react. Powell told reporters last week the economic effects could be bigger, they could be smaller. It could be much smaller or much bigger. He's starting to sound like Dr. Seuss. And he ends his statement with, "We just don't know." Well, welcome to a thing called life, Jerome. Conventional wisdom holds that historically the Federal Reserve has not responded directly to oil price spikes. Chair Powell said last week that the standard learning for the Fed has been to look through energy shocks. However, that has been dependent on inflation expectations remaining well anchored. Consequently, the Fed's response should be taken in the context of inflation remaining above the Fed's 2% goal for the past 5 years. Thank you for that, Joe Biden. Remember, under the Biden administration, we had the highest inflation in 40 years. Some say ever. We have to keep all these things in mind, Powell said, adding that the Fed won't approach the question of whether to look through energy inflation lightly. Okay. Iran has started charging transit fees on some commercial vessels passing through the Strait of Hormuz. Another sign of Tehran's control over the world's most important maritime energy channel. They really do want to get blown off the map. Payments of as much as $2 million per voyage are being sought on an ad hoc basis, effectively creating an informal toll on the waterway. You know, like a toll booth? According to people familiar with the matter, who requested anonymity, some vessels have actually made the payment, though the mechanism wasn't immediately clear or the currency used, and it doesn't appear to be systematic, the people familiar with the matter said. The payments show Iran's influence over Hormuz, through which normally about a fifth of the world's oil and gas and vast amounts of food, metals, and other materials are shipped every day. With the war in the Middle East now in its fourth week, it also highlights the desperate need for some consumers to ensure continued energy flows. So, you've got Trump saying, hey, we've had good talks with Iran, and you've got somebody in Iran saying, we ain't had no talks. I think the issue is nobody's in charge. You've probably got 10 or more people running around saying, I'm in charge, and somebody else is saying, no, I'm in charge. And at the end of the day, nobody's in charge. And that chaos is going to make things get ugly. So, pray for the world and pray for the people of Iran. They're the ones really getting punished the most. The people of Iran, they just want freedom. They took to the streets in great numbers, and the Iran's Revolutionary Guard slaughtered 40,000. And the ones they didn't kill in the street, they followed them to their hospital bed and finished the deal. So, pray for the world. Gaining the approval of local communities has become paramount to building data centers in the U.S., according to Microsoft. You have to win over the local community and maintain their trust if you're going staked out for some time. Well, Bill Gates was going to build the first quote-unquote digital city. Well, he bought that land over 8 years ago, and nobody's broken ground yet. And the whole community out in Tonopah, now there's a Tonopah, Nevada, and a Tonopah, Arizona. I'm talking about the one here in Arizona. It's about an hour west of Phoenix. The total population can't be over 100 people. So I would think that Bill Gates could win over 100 people just by cutting them all a check. So I think maybe energy and or water may be the bigger issue. Epic Games said today it would lay off more than 1,000 employees as it cuts costs after a sharp fall in usage of its flagship game, Fortnite. Chief Executive Tim Sweeney told employees the company had been spending significantly more than we're making since usage of the game began to decline in 2025. He said the layoffs, along with more than $500 million in savings from cuts to contracting and marketing and from leaving roles unfilled, would reduce cost. Interesting. Never played Fortnite. I'm not a geek type. And funds with stakes in SpaceX and Anthropic, or a fund with stakes in SpaceX and Anthropic, jumps 1,200% above asset value. A newly listed closed-end fund has soared more than 1,200% above its net asset value since its debut last week, as investors eager for stakes in IPO-bound companies such as SpaceX and Anthropic push the vehicle's market capitalization far beyond the estimated worth of its holdings. Shares in the Fundrise Innovation Fund. Now, this is not the fund I told you guys about a month ago. It's something XYZ. I don't have it in front of me. But shares in this fund, the Fundrise Innovation Fund, listed under the symbol VCX, climbed as much as 36% to $230 today, just their fourth day of trading, and were halted twice for volatility, in an echo of the meme stock era. With the majority of the fund's shares subject to a lockup agreement, investors bid the small amount that's available more than 13 times above its recent net asset value per share. I think there's about to be a whole lot of frowny faces. Turning to Capitol Hill. Well, it's kind of Capitol Hill. When Stanford biologist Paul Ehrlich appeared on 60 Minutes in 2023, that's just 3 years ago, he warned that humanity was on an unsustainable path and that the next few decades will be the end of the kind of civilization we're used to. He explicitly linked overpopulation and consumption to climate disruption, claiming it was already killing people. Ehrlich recently died at age 93, and the media offered respectful tributes to his 1968 bestseller, The Population Bomb. Yet almost no outlet asked the glaring question, why should anyone trust predictions from a man whose most famous forecasts were spectacularly wrong? In fact, all of his doom predictions were wrong, similar to the climate doom prediction of today. Ehrlich predicted mass starvation would kill hundreds of millions in the 1970s and 80s, that England would cease to exist by the year 2000, and that the U.S. would face widespread famine. None of that happened. Instead, the population doubled to 8 billion. Prosperity soared. Let me give you his name. Paul Ehrlich, Ehrlich. You Google it up and you read the story. And God rest his soul. We touched on this yesterday. Developers and local officials canceled a proposal for a new Muslim-based city in rural Texas, according to Republican Representative Lance Gooden, after a Daily Caller investigation reported on the plans in subsequent meetings. Kaufman County, Texas residents became aware in early February that a potential city was going to be built in their backyard and accused local officials of being very secretive about the deal. The Daily Caller report and locals' allegations that the project was an unlawful attempt to establish a Sharia city led Attorney General Ken Paxton to announce February 9th that his office had launched a formal investigation. The proposed massive sustainable city development was set to accommodate up to 20,000 foreign nationals in an unincorporated area of Kaufman County. The potential developer was SEE Holding, a UAE-based privately held global holding group headquartered in Dubai, apparently focused on sustainability and spearheading a net zero emissions future. A resident speaking anonymously to the caller in February feared that the new community was a ruse to bring around 20,000 Arab residents to rural Texas after seeing construction of the highly contentious East Plano Islamic Center. They worried about the social impact of having this community in their area and the demand on the local water supply that 3 new districts would require. Let's face it, we know what the real reason is. And I agree. Sorry. It's just the way it is. Now, there's a picture. If you care to Google up this article, there's a picture they put along with the article. It looks like a Christian church. It doesn't look like a mosque. And you know how they have those signs in front of some churches? They've got the little letters that you can move to, put up little different clever sayings or scriptures. They usually change them each week. At the Islamic Association of North Texas, their little sign says, "United we stand, one nation under God." And the first thing that popped into my head when I saw that was, who's God? The one that says love your enemy, or the one that says kill the infidel? It didn't take me long to reach the conclusion. There's only one true God, and that would be the one who says love your enemy. Believe it or not. And last on the news front, the Taliban regime released an American prisoner today, less than 2 weeks after the Trump administration designated the country as a sponsor of wrongful detention. Secretary of State Marco Rubio designated Afghanistan a state sponsor of wrongful detention in early March, calling for the release of Dennis Coyle and all Americans unjustly detained. The regime's Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced the release of Coyle, whom they called Dennis Quayle. So I don't know what's happening with the rest of the folks. Now, Coyle, 64, was arrested in January of 25 for violating the enforced laws of Afghanistan, according to the Post. The Colorado native spent almost 20 years working legally in the country, maintaining positive relationships with government ministries, according to his family. The State Department did not respond to any requests for more information. Rubio did write in an X post today that he met with Coyle's family this month, and they asked the secretary for help securing his release. And he's a free man. Rarely do we get to end on a positive note when it comes to the news, but there it is. Okay, let's go to Logic 247. That's our 24/7 around-the-clock E-mini alert service. Not just E-minis, but also crude, gold, and silver. We're currently in week 399. Over the last 399 weeks, we've issued over 21,800 individual handcrafted alerts. And what we've averaged on a weekly basis is 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based simply on market structure and a simple process we teach all of our passport holders. Now, if I scroll up, you can see last week's final recap. 43 total alerts, 5 never triggered, 38 actionable, 6 stop outs. So that was 16%. And then yesterday, we had at the time of this broadcast, we had 24 alerts, waiting on the outcome of 11, 13 actionable with 1 stop out, 8%. And now today, 38 alerts issued since the market opened Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. 3 never triggered. Still waiting on the outcome of 8. 27 actionable alerts. 2 stop outs, 7%. Keep in mind, Valerie did the recap this morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. So some of these 8 waiting may well have resolved themselves by now, or will resolve themselves by the end of the trading day. So this afternoon, she will update the recap and post it in the appropriate places as she does each and every day. The purpose of the logic alerts is to help you learn how to read a chart. Every logic alert has an entry, long or short, and then initial target designed to help you get your goal for the day. And then typically additional targets and then a final trade to target. If you never actually trade a logic alert, I'm telling you, if you'll use them for the purpose intended, I mean, it's fine to trade them, but the real purpose behind them is to help you learn how to read a chart. You need to know where to anticipate potential resistance, where to anticipate potential support. In doing so, you reveal the windows of opportunity that lie in between those 2 important points. And that's where you find your best high probability, low risk trade opportunities. Now, the logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock, 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. Futures trade around the clock. We have traders around the globe. Our day session is their night session, and vice versa. 399 weeks is a long time. It's over 7.5 years. But many years before we introduced Logic 247, we had our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts. Now, they're different in a lot of different ways. But for the purpose of this discussion, I'll just say this. They don't come out around the clock. They're published as a static report shortly before the Globex Open each evening. This Tuesday session that we're in right now began last night, Monday night, at 6 p.m. Eastern. But 5 minutes before the market opened, all of our traders had all of these targets. S&P 500, the Dow, the Russell, crude oil, the NQ, gold, and silver. Now, for those of you that tune in on a regular basis, you know that almost every day we hit the short and the long target in many cases, but almost always hit either the short or long target. But today, as I mentioned earlier, is an inside day, which often happens after a wide-ranging day like we had yesterday. So what does that mean and why is it important? Well, a lot of the targets didn't get hit. So let's go take a look at it all. We'll start here with the daily chart. Okay. Now you'll remember yesterday I drew daily fibs. This was Friday's close right there. And down here, that's where we opened Sunday night. Then we went red a little bit, and then we reversed, and we ran all the way up here. And yesterday, about this time, we were hanging out right around that 50% fib retracement of that one daily candle right there. And I said, if we closed below the 50% fib of that one daily candle, that I would go from regular fibs to reverse fibs. In an uptrend, you draw from the low to the high. In a downtrend, you draw from the high to the low. So I want to see how today finishes up. Now, I've been talking for some time about this transition pattern that we have going. If you run a continuous chart, it's easier to see. But we've been in a bull market for a long time, okay? But on this daily chart, we can see that transition. And we take out the low of Sunday night. I'm going to make an official call that we've gone from a bull market to a bear market. And that should concern you for one reason. If your money's being managed by somebody, you should take a look at how old they are, because there's a good chance they've never traded a bear market ever since they got out of college. All they had to do was buy and wait, buy and wait, buy and wait. There's been dips, there's been sell-offs, yeah, but we haven't seen the hurt locker since really 2008. And many say we got another 2008 around the corner. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not prophesying one, but I'm not discounting the potential either. So you can see this little tiny inside day we got going here. Now, this bullish engulfing candle in the proper context, which this is, okay, this is the proper context after an extended downtrend. The low of yesterday's candle was lower than Friday's low, and the high was higher than Friday's high, much higher. But look where we closed. We closed right at the zero line on the fib extensions. So while this is typically a great reversal pattern, what I wanted to see was if we could rally into the close yesterday, because that would give me some idea just how convinced the institutional traders were that the market could turn itself around. And where we closed and what we've done so far today, yeah, I know we sold off down to the 62 and we bounced back up to that zero line where we were at yesterday and where we ended up closing yesterday. So I'm not going to go to the reverse fibs today. I'm going to wait and see how today plays out. I don't think there's going to be anything exciting happening unless, there's a wild card out there that's probably going to be with us for a while, and that's this whole Iran business. Okay, we saw Sunday night or Monday morning that one post from Trump on Truth Social or X or wherever he posts can send the market, 1,000 points up or down. He's got a powerful voice. All right, so this is where we are. Price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green. We call it the BBC. Stands for bull bear cross. When price is above the green line, we're bullish and expect higher prices. When price gets below the green line, we're bearish and expect lower prices. Higher prices, lower prices, higher prices, lower prices. Now, what's interesting is the pullback to the BBC or the reversion to the mean, the pullback holds more often than it doesn't, whether it's pulling down from above or pulling up from below. The pullback holds more often than not. This pullback right here, it held. You're like, no, it didn't. There's a red candle below the green line. Yeah, but you see, there's a wick touching the green. As long as the candle is physically touching the green line, that's a whole, it held. That pullback held. Okay. And it went on to put in a double top there, which sent us back to the BBC where what happened? The pullback held. And a leg and a retracement. And now here we had a candle open and close below the BBC. But the next day it reversed. When that happens, we expect lower prices, but we caught a surprise on that day, January 21st. Sometimes the market doesn't do what you think it's going to do next, even when you learn how to read the charts. That's why after 7.5 years and over 21,900 Logic 247 alerts, we don't have a perfect record. 20% or less of the alerts get stopped out on a weekly basis. And that's all a matter of public record. Okay, now this is what I'm talking about. See the big day we had yesterday? Now, the vertical line, and look at today. That's a wide-ranging day is typically followed by a consolidation day, an inside day. And true to form, that's what's happening. The vertical line separates today, Tuesday, which began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern with that candle right there. The horizontal lines are the weekly trading zones. Those are published for our members every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once they're published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. They don't change in any way whatsoever. When price drops to a weekly zone, we expect support until proven otherwise. When price rallies up to a weekly zone, we expect resistance until proven otherwise. So as we could see last night, we hugged. Now this zone is 65.97/98. I just put one of the lines on there to keep the chart clean. From there, we did catch a bounce, and we put in a double top based off this high right here. Yeah, maybe we exceeded it a little bit. Yeah, and we're always suspicious of just a little bit. Okay. Now, I had set the long target based on this high right here, and we just didn't quite get there. But more than enough opportunity to get your goal for the day. This one candle, we're above the BBC, so we expect higher prices. It opened at 66, we'll call it 25, 66.25, and it ran up to 66.53. Over 25 points in that one candle. You only need 2 points to get your goal for the day. Then we had a pull back to the BBC, and the pullback held, then it held, then it held, and it held, and then we finally dropped back to the weekly zone. We spiked it, but again, all candles are touching the zone, so it held, and it sent us back up, okay? But again, we got a high, we got a lower high, we got a lower high. We do have blue and climbing in the picture. So the potential for us to move back up and challenge these highs, it's good. Okay, I mean, we're currently painting a red candle. I'd rather see a green candle if I'm looking to go long. But this little area right here, 66.40 up to 66.44, that should be a really nice 4-point trade for somebody who's interested in taking it. I'll just draw it in. Okay, again, that's 4 points, and it's what I call a window of opportunity. Okay? All right. on the Dow. This is where we opened last night, right at a weekly zone. And then we took a dive. Buyers came in here, not at a spot I would have anticipated. But once red and falling turns to blue and climbing, boom, up we go to the weekly zone, which again we expect to be resistance until proven otherwise. When the market finds resistance, it's going to always go look for support. That's just how the markets work. And where did it find support? At the weekly zone. When the market finds support, what's it going to do? It's going to go look for resistance, which it found. Now I realize we spiked the zone here pretty good, but all candles are touching. That zone is 46,535/540. Okay? Is it possible today that we still hit the long target? Yeah. You always got to embrace all possibilities. And if some negative news comes out regarding Iran, I mean, we could end up hitting the short target, so don't count it out. But it definitely looks like the market wants to hold steady here or maybe move higher. We're about to get a bullish cross right here. That's when the blue line gets above the green line. That's important. Now, the short target was based off this bearish cross right here from yesterday. That's when the blue line gets above the green line. The first time price revisits that area will almost always be good support. So I don't think it'll happen today, but you should write that number down because that's a huge move. So that gives even more significance to this bullish cross. It might happen later in the week, might happen next week, but if you trade the Dow, put it in your notepad or in your journal. If price drops to 45,925, I should expect good support. Maybe it doesn't happen for a month. Maybe it doesn't happen for 6 months. It doesn't change the fact. Okay? The Russell. Stretch this out a little bit. Okay. Here's the open last night. We ran up to the weekly trading zone, which we expect to be resistance, and it was. Resistance sent us looking for support. Now again, buyers came in earlier than I would have anticipated. Okay, you can see that again, this short target is based off this bullish cross. So that number is very important. As red and falling turns to blue and climbing, we get a rally that takes us right up to the zone. Remember, once these zones are published Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, they're carved in stone for the entire week. So resistance sends the market looking for support. And we found it right here, where red turned to blue. To the tick, pretty much. So now support's going to send the market looking for resistance. Long target. Now this high right here failed to take out this high. So that's a little bit bearish, okay? But we are well above the BBC. We do have blue and climbing chasing price. So I'm not going to rule out higher prices. This is a key number right here. Call it 25.35. And then right here, 25.45. Keep an eye on those. In Q, here's where we opened last night. As you can see, yesterday, going into the close, we hit the BBC. The pullback held, gave us a bounce, but we failed to take out that high right there. By quite a bit, actually. So that sent us down looking for support. Resistance always sends the market looking for support. Support always sends a market looking for resistance. That's just how markets work. So look at, these are 30-minute candles. Look at how many hours we consolidated. Then red and falling, curled up, turned to blue and climbing, and off we go. And this high is that high. Almost. See how we failed to get there by just a little bit? That's bearish. But resistance sent the market looking for support, which it found at the weekly trading zone. Now we found resistance at the BBC. But you see how red and falling has curled up under price? So you've got potential support at the zone, of course, which is 253/254. And when red and falling gets directly below price, it becomes potential support. So we've got support times 2 right here. If we crack that, wow, this thing could drop quick. But I don't know that we're going to. See, when red and falling gets directly below price, it's usually on its way to becoming blue and climbing. Okay? Just as when blue and climbing gets directly above price, it's typically on its way to becoming red and falling. Again, it's just how markets work. Crude oil. Let's see, where's Michael? I guess he'll be here in a minute, I guess. Crude oil, here's where we opened last night. Blue and climbing is bullish. Now, we know the pullback to the BBC holds more often than not, right? Like it held here, and it held here, and it held here, and held here for a while. But when you've got, in this instance, look at all the blue and climbing you've got chasing price when it hits the BBC. So we know the pullback holds more often than not, but we also know eventually it's going to trade through. And the chance for it to trade through typically comes in a scenario like this, where you've got lots of blue and climbing chasing, or if we're going in the other direction, lots of red and falling chasing price. Okay? So from here, we pull back to the zone support, and we basically just consolidate at the zone for hours. And then we get a leg and a retracement. And right now, we're just about to get to the long target on crude. So we'll pick up with gold when I come back. Michael is here. He's going to give us a recap of what happened this morning in the live training room. And then do a little live trading as time and the markets permit. I'll come back, finish the recap, and close out with our good word for the day.
Excellent. I am looking to see. All right. It's all good. Got another physical therapist here today. A new one.
Oh.
She's from Tucson.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, feisty little lady. She got him up and dancing.
Oh, boy.
He didn't really move, but yeah. She got him up and moving his body around a little bit. Like
that's good.
Dancing. Yeah.
All right. Everything, your screens look good, so
all right. Here
I'll
we go.
see you in a half hour.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday, the 24th day of March, 2026. Now, if you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. There's no credit card required for this trial. Just click on the purple button and it will bring you to this page right here. Now, on this page, all we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. Give us all that stuff. Name, email, and phone number, and down at the bottom, make sure you use your TradingView login ID right here, okay? We're going to need that to get your indicators indicating on your desktop, right? All right. Now, today is Dwayne, I'm sure was just telling you, it's very much inside day so far today, and we've been going back and forth around the same area, up and down, all morning so far. So it was kind of a slow start. We did get the goal for the day pretty quick, but went back and forth, giving it back and forth. And we managed to stay positive pretty much the whole morning, I think. We might have been negative just a little bit at one point, but we got back positive. And so this is what we ended up with. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today's the 24th day of March, 2026. We were up 151 ticks on the NQ, 2 ticks on the Russell, 41 ticks on the YM, and 8 ticks on the ES. Put us at $1,070 a contract on the morning session. Today it took 3 minutes and 2 trades to get to $1,500, 10 contracts on, and 32 trades with 5 stop outs today. So 84% of our trades today were break even or better. Just looking back at that day, we had 35 trades with no stop outs. That was a big day. Anyway, we're averaging about, on the month so far, we're averaging 86% of our trades are break even or better. Last month we had 85.76. Month before that, 85%. So about 85% of our trades break even or better. Is the way it's working out. So that's pretty good stuff, I think. On the month now, we're at $16,802, $800 per contract for 2-hour trading day. And that is $200 over where I like to average. So that's good because it brings this average up on the year. On the year now, we're at $61,055 per contract. So for 49 trading days, averaging $1,246 per contract per 2-hour trading day. That is on the year. Now, following, where are my arrows? You make some things up, Bart. Following the 24/20 blueprint. If you were to quit trading when you get the goal for the day and you were to add 1 contract per month, so far this year, you would have only had to work 6.3 hours. And if you did everything exactly like I did, had all the same slippage and everything else, you'd be trading 3 contracts right now, it'd be up $14,662.50 gross. That gives a net average of $2,327 per hour a year. Okay. This is CFRN Trading IQ, Bart. We don't use arrows in here right now anyway. Big move down right here. This is the big move down. Let's just take a look out here and see what this looks like in the bigger picture of the move down. We are now getting back down below red and falling where the MA1 on the daily chart. Okay, see, this is the little tiny candle that we have today compared to the big giant candle we had yesterday. So we're standing right in the middle of this candle. If you look at the high and low of this candle, the high was 748 and the low was 83.50. So let's just do a little math because I like doing math. And we'll say 748 minus 683. I think I did that wrong. Let's do that again. Okay, so this is the high of 748 minus 483. That's it. 748 minus 483 is 265 divided by 2 equals that. 132 plus 483 equals 615.5. But so 615.5 is the middle of yesterday. We're right at the middle of yesterday. It's right here. I guess I could have done that with the fib thing, couldn't I? Just gone like this. So we are right at the middle of the day yesterday. And we've been kind of hovering back and forth over it all day today. So I expect eventually here it's going to break out big one way or the other. It might not happen today. It might be tomorrow. But let's see that's what we're looking at right now. A little tiny bit of the range of yesterday. So far the range of today is...
I think it happens the next time Trump makes a post.
You think?
It was his Truth Social post yesterday morning, and from the 7 a.m. 30-minute candle is when we had that huge run-up. So
73 to 53. That's 80 points today. That's significant compared to what we used to do.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's for us right now. It's a tiny inside day, but historically speaking, it's
huge.
10 years ago, we'd have loved that, or
we
20
get that
years
in a month,
ago,
maybe.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it's a quarter of what yesterday is. Today's range is a quarter of what yesterday's range was, and we're hovering right around the midpoint of yesterday. This right here is the midpoint of yesterday. So it's interesting stuff. We're gonna have a big breakout one way or the other here coming up. I can feel it. I don't know what's going to cause it, but something will. We just want to be on the right side of it. And the good news about what we do is you can be on the right side of it simply by trading what's in front of you. All right, so let's get into the actual trades. I don't think I went through any of the trades yet. And let's start out here with the Russell. Times it's 108 already. Wow. Okay, control back. I'll get to the beginning quickly. With the Russell, we started out here. You can see we had a couple of stop outs in there. My first trade on the Russell was a plus 14, and then we stopped out minus 25. That put us at minus 9. Then we got up to minus 4. Then we got up to plus 6, Then we stopped out again, back down to minus 19. And then we had one big trade right here that got us up to plus 2. And that was where we quit with the Russell. Right now, this is not a trade right here. It just went full cycle here. So it's going to get back up above the mid band and come back down below it. Okay. And that is the Russell so far today. The YM, controlling back on that. All right. On the YM, here we go. The first trade here on the YM, the very first trade, we had a plus 5 somewhere in there. We had a plus 5, and then we stopped out. That put us at minus 20. Then we stopped out again. That put us at minus 45. And then we went from minus 45 to minus 39, minus 39 to minus 34. Then we had a big trade right here. We went from minus 34 to plus 11. And then we went to 21. And then 28. And then 41. And that was it on the YM. And we don't have a trade right here now either on the YM. It hasn't gone back into the overbought. Okay, so the Russell and the YM have the same problem right now. They've been trading together quite a bit today, getting the same signals most of the time. The ES now controlling back on that. Yeah, Bart, the arrows you're talking about, those arrows right there are the ones that I draw in. When I take a trade, you see them, but those are the ones I manually draw in. You're probably talking about the other ones that I do not have on these charts right now. Scrolling through, we had a break even there. We stopped out there. Now on the ES, we actually had a plus 8 somewhere first. We had a plus 8 somewhere in there. It was one of our first trades. It was part of getting the goal for the day. Was the plus 8 on the ES. And we had a plus 8. And then we stopped out. That put us at minus 2. Then we had somewhere a break even, another plus 8 that got us to plus 2. And then we had, that got us to plus 6. And then we had a plus 2 somewhere. Somewhere we had a plus 2 right there. And that got us to plus 8 overall on the ES. And right now, if we go all the way to the end, we just about have a trade here. Nope, it's not going to give us a trade. Never mind. All 3 of the indexes right now, these indexes, are giving us something to work with. The NQ is the closest right now. It just needs a down close. Speaking of the NQ, let's start with the NQ. We'll go all the way back here to the beginning. And we are not getting that down close on the NQ. Let's just watch my Dom. It got pretty close to it there. Crap. I gotta go all the way back. Hang on. Okay, there it is. Okay, so it did trigger me in. Here it is. And I'm at plus 10. All right. I had the trade waiting down there. That's why I went back. So it just went to plus 10. It took me out of plus 10. All right, so let's go all the way back again right now. All right, on the NQ, we started out pretty good on the NQ. Our first trade was a plus 10, then we had a plus 51. That got us up to 61. Then we stopped out. That put us down to 25. Then went from 25 to 41, then 41 to 73, then 73 to 77. And then 77 to 87, 87 to 97, 97 to 107, 107 to 135, and 135 to 151. So these last 2 trades here were pretty big. And that was it. And that was it on the morning session for us with the NQ. That was a big trade. That ended up being a nice trade. We ended up on the NQ with 151 ticks this morning. Okay, so let me put that one that we just did in here. Okay, that is 10 on the NQ. 24, 67th day, keeping track. And copy that, paste that, copy that, paste that, change that to 67. And this number here is going to be, we'll say 16. Okay, and so far. This is a 1 and a 0. That's where we are right now in the session. We're up 500 bucks with 10 contracts on, or 50 with 1. Okay, in this session. The ES is about to give us a trade, just needs a down close. The NQ is about to give us a trade, just needs a down close. Still need the down close on the ES to get the trade, and the down close on the, they both just triggered. Okay, here's the ES, that stops at break even. We're going to lock in 4 on that, 6 on that, 8 on the ES, and we're in the NQ right now also. The stops at plus 10. So I was going for 14, but I don't think I got it. I got 8 on the ES right there, and I don't know what I got on that exactly, but I'll go look. There's 8 there, and at least 10 there. Go see what we ended up with on the NQ. It was 16 is what we actually got on that. I'll show you. I'll show you both of those. Here's the 4 points on the NQ, and there's the 2 points on the ES. So that puts us here with 8 and another 16 here, and a 3 there. All right, that's where we are right now. Again, if you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to take a free trial with us, you just need to go here to mytradingiq.com. Click on the purple button. It's going to bring you to the registration page. Just fill out the registration page. Okay. That's all you need to do. You want to do that, get the indicators indicating on your desktop so you can follow along in the free trial. All the stuff that we do every morning, every business day. Email regarding those. Yeah, they're not in here. That's not part of this part. Again, that's TV trades. Okay, this is CFR Trading IQ. All right, we need an up close on the ES, an up close on the ES right here. Give us a long trade. I hope it closes down and not up. If it closes down, then we're not gonna. It's be too far away. Because I really don't want to have a long trade right now. Everything's going down. It's gonna close down. It's too far away now. There it is. Good. It's gonna flip to YBR, and it should give us some more shorts. Okay. But I will send you a video, Bart. I'll send it to you in Telegram. So we need this is what we need over here on the NQ. We just need a down close there now on the NQ. The ES isn't giving us anything. The Russell's not giving us anything. The YM is not giving us anything. So the NQ is the only one that's close to a short trade right here. 10 points from the top of the bar. 10 points. 87.75 down to 67.75 is what you'd be selling right now. I think 10 points from the top of the bar. There it is right there. Oops. Well, there it is right there. And it should make it down to the prior swing low right here. The reason I said oops is because I accidentally did it twice and I have 2 of them on right now. So it just took both of them out on that pullback. So they were both at plus 10, I think. Let's see. 70. Yeah, they were both exactly at plus 10. So I'll just do 1 plus 10 for that. It's about to give another trade here though. Get ready on the NQ. Okay, there it is. I'll put the other plus 10 in just a second. The ES did not turn into a trade because it didn't come out of the overbought. I don't have anything on either one of those. And here's the NQ. Okay. And that just went to plus 10 again. And it just took me up plus 10 again. Okay, so that ended up being 40 more. 20 more, so 46 altogether over 2 trades. That becomes a 5. Okay, so right now we're at $3,300 or $330 with one contract. So that was plus 10. That was plus 10. That one I didn't do. Right, that wasn't right. That's one I did do. Okay, there. That was plus 10. That was a plus 10. Anyway, looking at these others right here on the YM, a down close on the YM right now would be a short. Okay. You do too, use Telegram. I use it on your desktop when I help you. But I can send you an email too. All right. The YM is a short right here. There it is. That needs to go 10 ticks into profit down to here to bump the stop to plus 5. Okay. Now it's in kind of a tight range right here. It's all jammed up. You see how the swing low is right here. So that would be enough to get it. That's 12 ticks if it gets down there to the swing low. It'll bump the stop to plus 5 for me. Okay. What time is it? 1:20. We've got plenty of time in here. Looks like it's going to stop us. We'll see. The ES almost has a trade here. It needs a down close. It's got a high. It still needs a down close. All right, we stopped out on the YM. And the ES is flipping the YBR. So let's put that in. YM is a minus 25. And this becomes a 6. And that is a 1. Okay, so we're at $2,050 right now. Bart. Let me see if I can go find what you're looking for. You really got to get to. I know you have Telegram because I send you things in Telegram all the time. When I'm on your desktop. That's how I pass files back and forth. All right, we need an up close here on the ES. Up close on the ES would be a long trade. This was not a trade over there. It is on the ES. This was not a trade over here on the YM. Not a trade on the YM because it wasn't flat on the bar before. Not a trade on the NQ because we didn't go full cycle. Looks like we might stop out on the CS. Not a trade on the Russell because it wasn't flat on the bar before. So the only trade we have is a CS trade right here. And even that one, now that I look at, no, it was right here. That was okay. That was an okay trade to Jake. And it stopped us out. So go back here, and that becomes a minus 2. We're still at plus 800. But we're up 3,300 at one point. It's 1:22, so we still have plenty of time left to have more trades. Okay. Actually, Bart, I'm going to send you something else. Rather than me go and pick through, you can go and pick through. Redirect you to a place in your repository. There. All right. The NQ. This is a valid short over here on the NQ. Here, I'm just jumping on it right now. Actually, I should have probably not done that. It looks like it might have already gone 10 ticks into profit. It should go down to the prior swing low right now. That's what it should do. It should get down to here. There's plus 10, plus 14. And take that. It is pretty close to the prior swing low right there. I just sent it to you. It did get down to the prior swing low, so that's good. And we added a little bit in here. Okay, that becomes an 8. So we're at $1,500 or $150 a contract right now. We have about 4 minutes left. This could be another trade here on the ES. 425 up to 625 on the ES. I don't really like it, but it's a trade. It's a valid trade. And nothing here, nothing here. And nothing on the NQ either right now. Okay, Bart, I emailed it to you. I pasted it in here too. But it's a link to the YouTube playlist, so you can go and pick through it. Watch whatever you want. Okay. You won. How often did they have to go to your house?
Well, how's it been?
It's okay. I was up pretty good, and then I stopped out 2 or 3 times, and now I'm up a little bit. I'm up the goal for the day. I'm looking for a down close here on the NQ right now.
That's the truth about trading.
It is. I was up 3,300 at one point, and now I think I'm up 150 or 100, 1,500. I think, yeah, I was up for a while there. I was up pretty good. We're up.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. What you got there?
We'll take it.
Still got 2 minutes.
Yes, we do. We still got a couple of minutes. There's an NQ trade right here, too. Here's the NQ trade. And it's going to flip to YBR right now, I think. But we're in a short, so we let the short play out, even if it does flip to YBR. And it's got to go just a little bit more to get that stop to plus 10. The swing low is all the way down here. So it doesn't even have to go all the way there. It's just going to get to the prior bar low. But looks like it might get us. It did. Okay, and that's a 36 tick stop. So that takes a lot of it out of the NQ. Puts us down to 24 there. Oops, and that's minus 300. Okay, so we need to have another trade here. And so we're at 66.67% of our trades to break even or better. And we now have 1 minute left. So we were at plus 3,300. And we're going to flip the YBR here. We're probably going to flip it over here too.
CS could give you a long.
It could. Yeah. The NQ is probably moving faster.
Yeah.
Oh, they both just came down. The ES needs a down close followed by an up close. And the NQ needs the same thing, a down close followed by an up close. YM needs the same thing, a down close followed by an up close. But a down close on the YM can't happen right now. If it goes straight down, then it'll be too far away. Could end up that we end up not getting it back. We had 4 stop outs, I think, right? Nope, nothing there on the ES. And it's time.
Now, anybody that's tuned in, if you don't understand what the heck's going on, then you probably need to take the free trial, which Michael has shown you how to do and will show you again how to do.
Right now. If you haven't taken the free trial and you want to, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. There is no credit card required for that. Right, when you click on that, it's going to be into the registration page. All that we ask for is your name, your email, your phone number. Down here at the bottom gives you TradingView login ID. Okay, so looking at this, we were up $3,300 at one point. We ended up minus 300 right now because we stopped out, I think 4 times actually. Right, it says 3. I guess 3 times is probably right. Because we stopped out 3 times. We stopped out on the YM, we stopped out on the NQ, and we stopped out on the ES. I think that's correct. Yeah, once on the YM, once on the NQ, and once on the ES. But that is the truth about trading. So 66.67% of our trades this 16-minute session will break even or better. Now, I know if I had another 15 minutes, we'd be fine. Yep. But it is what it is. That is how things worked out in this moment of time, in this little window. Usually, we average the goal. The goal for the day is to make this 100. So in this 15.17 minute window, we're averaging $132 per contract in these sessions. So that's
takes into account today's negative 300. Correct?
Yes, it does. It does take this into account. Yep. Yeah, when that was plus 3,300.
And that also reinforces why when you get your goal for the day, you put the mouse away.
That's right. Again, reinforces it. And you don't need to be trading all day long. If you can't get to the morning session, you can get to this session, then get to this session. I'm in here for half an hour each time, and we trade about half of that time, about 15 minutes we average. Okay, so again, if you haven't taken the free trial, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button, no credit card required. Click on that. That's all you need to do. All right, with that, I can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park.
Okay, recap of the morning session.
Today it took 3 minutes and 2 trades to get to $1,500.
Great job.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, guys, we covered all the markets in granular detail, except for gold and silver, which we're going to do right now. If you missed any part of the broadcast, which began at 12 noon Eastern, as it does every day, give it 5 minutes after I sign off here in a few minutes. Go to youtube.com/CFRN and you can watch today's broadcast in its entirety, or you can fast forward to whatever part you missed or whatever part you want to see. Okay, youtube.com/CFRN. Okay, gold. Again, we already did the ES, the Dow, the Russell, the NQ, and crude. So with gold, here's where we opened last night. We attempted higher off the open last night, but we failed to make it to the long target, okay, which was based on right here, where blue turned to red, okay. We didn't even take out that high right there. This high, we didn't take out. So all that's a sign of weakness. So when the market runs into resistance, as it obviously did here, it's going to go look for support. We hit the short target, caught a bounce, hit it again, and ultimately where we find support at the weekly trading zone, 4312/4313. When the market finds support, it's going to go look for resistance. And we found it here initially at the zone. And that's how it works. When price rallies up to a zone, we expect resistance till proven otherwise. When it drops to a zone, we expect support till proven otherwise. So on this move here, we failed to take out these highs early in the session. That's bearish. So it sent us back basically to the short target. Support then bounced us up. And this high right here is right there where blue turned to red. You got a little double top going there. Now, price is back below the BBC, and we're probably headed back to the short target. That's how it looks. As you can see, even gold having an inside day. And last but not least, silver. Here's where we opened last night on silver, and we hit a weekly zone, 69.90/91, which we expect to be resistance until proven otherwise, and it was. So that sends the market looking for support, which it found basically at the short target, which was based off of the bullish cross from yesterday. That's when the blue line gets above the green line and leads to an extended move. The first time price revisits that area, right where the bullish cross happened, you should expect that to be good support. Support sends us looking for resistance, which we found at the zone. I mean, we reached up. We almost tagged that long target, but we just consolidated at the zone. When price encounters a weekly zone, 70% of the time you're going to get consolidation, 20% of the time rejection, 10% of the time the slice. So resistance sends us looking for support. Now, we had a bullish cross right here. This time we traded a little bit below it, but buyers finally came in and drove us back to the zone, where we again consolidated for 2.5 hours. Then we pull back to the BBC, and we have blue and climbing. So, but we're painting a red candle. This low that we have right now, it's not quite that low right there. But if now this candle, see the wick sticking up, and this candle, the wick sticking down, you just lay your crosshair, your cursor, right in between those two, and you can see that that is the current low of the current candle. Current candle's low is, again, wick sticking up, wick sticking down. Put your crosshair in between, should be good support, and it was. Gave us a bounce. Is it enough of a bounce to send us back to the zone and maybe make a run at the long target? I don't know. Path of least resistance, unfortunately, seems to be to the downside. But it is what it is. One last look at the daily. All right, we're now below that 50% fib that I drew yesterday. And I went into great detail at the beginning of the broadcast when we first went to the charts. I drew fibs on this daily candle. And yesterday I said if we close below, at or below I think I said below the 50% fib retracement, that I would go from regular fibs to reverse fibs. Regular fibs is when you're in an uptrend, you draw from the low to the high. In a downtrend, reverse fibs, you draw from the high to the low. So today we are below that 50% fib based on yesterday's huge candle. So if we close down at the 62, or definitely if we close below the 24% retracement, then tomorrow live, so you get to see it happen, I will switch from regular fibs to reverse fibs. Okay? We'll give it another day. I mean, look how long it's been since we touched the BBC. The price always reverts to the mean. I don't care what you're trading or how you trade it. In the markets, in the world of trading, there's always a reversion to the mean. You may not be aware of it, but it's happening. Trust me. Now, the green line, that's our mean. BBC, bull bear cross. When price crosses above the green line, we're bullish, expecting higher prices. When price crosses below, we're bearish, expecting lower prices. Now, we've not touched the BBC. We've been below the BBC all the way back to February 12th. This counts here. You go like, well, wait a minute. No, that's a green candle above it, but it's still touching. See, it's part of a leg and a retracement. And as long as the candle's physically touching, that counts as the pullback held, as evidenced by the following day and the next day. So the last day we physically touched the BBC from below, March 5th. And now we're at March 24th. So, kind of looks like prices are heading lower. But, and I say that just from a technical perspective. Now, I know that fundamental stuff like this war in Iran and other things have created this transition from a bull market to what may rapidly become a bear market. But I'm just giving you the technical side. If, as I just mentioned with Michael a little while ago, if some news comes out or Trump makes a post, remember this huge move up that happened. I could let me go to the ES and show you. Right here, this candle. Look down below where it says March 23rd, 7 a.m. Eastern. This 30-minute candle all happened. We ran all the way up to there. We got a 67.47 high. What was the low? The low was 65.06, and it ran up to 67.48. Goodness, that's like 250 points in one 30-minute candle. And that's because he said, I'm going to hold off on hitting the energy grid, and I ran. That simple post sent the market that far. So, while everything we do is based on technicals, not fundamentals, when you have something as big as what's happening in the Strait of Hormuz, well, I can't draw any squiggly lines or anything else to factor in the Strait of Hormuz, so I've got to just stay with the technicals. But the technicals tell me it's going to get worse before it gets better. So it may be telling you something different. I don't know. But I'll be watching closely to see how we close today, and that will probably dictate the direction we travel until this thing in Iran gets resolved. Now, these people have been killing Americans and lying to us for 47 years. They said they didn't even have a missile that could go 2,000 kilometers. Well, now we know they do, okay? So you just can't trust anything they say. And the UK got a real wake-up call because they didn't think Iran could strike them. Now they know they can. They took a shot at Diego Garcia. They missed, but now England knows that Iran can go the distance. So they really need to get off their backside, and I don't know what kind of parliamentary measures they have to go through, how many hoops they got to jump through, but they better get some battleships out to the Strait of Hormuz, if they even have any. I'm certain they must. The Nina, the Penta, and the Santa Maria, they've been decommissioned, but I'm sure they have something. So, anyway, hate to end things on such a sour note, but hey, that's the truth about trading, right? Okay, if you want to become a member, do what we do, the way we do it. Email Valerie, support@cfrn.net. Just let her know you want to become a member. She'll send you all the information you need that explains what it means to become a member, and a couple mouse clicks and you become a member. It's really a simple process. And if you have any questions at all, she'll be more than happy to discuss those with you. You can call her at 949-42-EMINI or email her support@cfrn.net. We'd love to have you as a part of the family. The ball is in your court. All right, let's wrap it up with our good word for today. Yesterday we talked about the fourth beatitude. Today we'll talk about the fifth beatitude, which is in Matthew 5:7. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Mercy is more than forgiveness, less than love, different from grace, and one with justice. Forgiveness becomes operational only when a wrong is committed, but mercy is operational at all times. Mercy leads to and produces forgiveness, but mercy is more than forgiveness. Mercy reaches out to the weak, to the needy, and to those needing protection and direction. Just as forgiveness flows out of mercy, so mercy flows out of love. Love is the source of mercy, but love is greater than mercy. It exists apart from any need or sin. Mercy offers a reprieve from punishment, but grace offers complete pardon. Mercy relieves our pain, but grace cures the disease. Mercy overlooks the mistakes, but grace forgets the mistakes. God is both merciful and just at the same time. Mercy that ignores or refuses to deal with sin is a false mercy. Justice requires that we face and deal with sin. Mercy grants us the privilege of facing and dealing with it so we might be forgiven of it. Jesus said, "Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy." The more mercy we exercise, the more mercy we receive from God. We are to be conduits for God's mercy with an ever-increasing capacity to impart it to others. The person who exercises mercy is unshackled from emotional chains, freed of spiritual bondage, and liberated from the bitterness that hinders spiritual growth. Mercy flowing from God to us removes the blockages that keep us from becoming whole. And the good news is that we will never be asked to extend more mercy to others than God has extended to us. And that's our good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.